enough for Pete, and he leave.
Alright, listen closely, because what you're about to hear might actually be the first crack in the Kardashian empire. A truck driver in the UK just got sentenced after authorities uncovered nearly $10 million worth of illegal substances hidden deep inside shipments tied to Kim Kardashian's Skims clothing line. On the surface, it sounds disconnected, like just another random smuggling case. But the deeper you look, the less random it starts to feel. Because suddenly, old accusations start resurfacing, patterns people ignored start lining up. Remember when Ray J warned that Kim and Kris Jenner could be facing serious RICO-level trouble? At the time, most people laughed it off. And then Cat Williams stepped in, hinting that something wasn't right behind the scenes, questioning why so many relationships around Kim seemed to end in chaos, or worse. And here's the part that doesn't sit right. These whispers about alleged shady activity inside the Kardashian circle, they didn't just start yesterday. There were reports that federal authorities once questioned Kim directly, but somehow, that story disappeared almost as fast as it surfaced. Then there are the older claims, accusations of financial misconduct involving high-profile celebrities like Brandy, even Britney Spears. And if that wasn't enough, people have also pointed fingers at Kris Jenner, suggesting her church may have been used in ways that raise serious financial questions. But just when you think it can't get any darker, Kanye West went public, making explosive claims about the family, claims so extreme, most people didn't even know what to do with them. Now, suddenly, with this new case unfolding, everything feels different. Because this time, the questions aren't going away. And trust me, we're only scratching the surface here. So stay with me, because this story is about to get a lot deeper.
Or they stole from your sister, they stole from your mom. You're using that as an example because of the lawyer fees attached to this, or
they stole 800 grand, it was like 600,000 to 800,000 off my mom's credit card and Brandy's credit card.
To do what?
They stole it.
Alright, now let's slow this down and really look at this truck driver situation, because this is where things start getting uncomfortable. People online are already saying it's only a matter of time before something bigger surfaces, something official, something documented. So here's what actually happened. Back in September 2025, a Polish truck driver, Jacob Jan-Kanungal, was stopped by border force officers at the port of Harwich in the UK. At first glance, everything looked routine. The truck was carrying what appeared to be a normal shipment, Skims clothing. Nothing unusual, nothing alarming. But something didn't sit right with officers. So they took a closer look. An X-ray scan was ordered, and that's when everything changed. Because hidden inside the rear trailer doors was a concealed compartment. And inside that compartment, roughly 90 kilos of illegal substances, valued at around $9.4 million. Yeah, let that sink in. According to the official report, the driver made a brief 16-minute stop along his route, where he picked up the packages. 16 minutes, that's all it took. He later admitted he agreed to transport it for just under $5,000. A risk like that, for that little money? That alone raises questions. He was eventually sentenced to 13.5 years in prison and will be deported once his sentence is complete. Now officially, neither the sender nor the intended receiver of the scheme shipment were said to have any knowledge of what was hidden inside. That's the official story. But here's where things start to feel off. Because when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it doesn't quite add up. You start asking yourself, how many similar shipments have passed through unnoticed? And more importantly, was this really the first time something like this happened? Or just the first time it got caught? Now to be clear, no one is saying Kim Kardashian is directly tied to any kind of operation. But if you listen to the conversations happening online, a lot of people are coming to the same conclusion. This feels bigger. Much bigger than it looks. One person even commented, "You don't build that level of wealth clean. Something always gets hidden." Another said, "Before clearing anyone, financial records should be fully examined." And honestly, those questions don't come out of nowhere. Because when you go back, way before the fame, the billion-dollar brand, there's a history people haven't forgotten. A time when Kim was working behind the scenes, organizing closets for celebrities, trying to find her way into the spotlight. One of those celebrities was Brandy. This was before Ray J, before everything changed. Brandy brought her in, trusted her, gave her access, introduced her to the industry. And according to court filings from 2008, that trust was broken. Because Brandy's mother, Sonia Norwood, filed a lawsuit claiming unauthorized charges had been made on family credit cards. The case forced repayment. And recently, Ray J brought it back into the spotlight, claiming the total taken was close to $1 million. And suddenly, when you connect that past to what's happening now, it starts to paint a very different picture.
Kim and Chloe was my sister's assistants. Kim was doing closets. They didn't have any money. All that's a lie. They worked for Brandy. Brandy said, go. They swipe the card and get Brandy 3 or 4 Jimmy Choo shoes or whatever, or clothes, whatever. And then they'll get themselves like 4 or 5 shoes too. Over and over for months and months and months until they ran up to like almost $1 million. Then my mom get money. My mom is very frugal. They spent like 100 bands on her card running it.
On still fashion?
On all kind of shit, bro. They had my mom's credit card. They thought my mom spent like Brandy spent. And stole all their money, bro. It's in court. They had to pay it back. It's just Brandy is a good person, and I guess she was in a situation where she couldn't speak on it, so they got away with it.
And look, I get it. A lot of people are quick to brush Ray J off, like he's just talking. But this time, it's hitting different. Because now, he's not standing alone. Sonia Norwood, Brandy's own mother, has stepped forward and backed him up. Yeah, let that sink in. This isn't just old drama being recycled. This is someone directly involved, confirming what was already being said. And it didn't just stop at words. Back in December, Sonia filed an official declaration in court, supporting Ray J's request. To have that defamation lawsuit, filed by Kim and Kris Jenner, completely thrown out. Think about that. She didn't stay silent. She didn't distance herself. She stepped in and put her name behind it. Sonia wrote in her filing in or around 2008, I discovered that Kim Kardashian and her siblings Khloe Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian, and Robert Kardashian Jr. had incurred around $850,000 in unauthorized charges maintained by members of my family. Before I filed suit, I told my son about the Kardashian siblings' theft. And even after Sonia won, even after the money was paid back, nothing really changed. Because years later, the same pattern started showing up again. Fast forward to 2019, and suddenly, Kim's name is being pulled into something much bigger. This time, federal attention. She was reportedly questioned by the Federal Bureau of Investigation over her connection to a man named Joe Lowe, a fugitive accused of moving billions. We're talking about an alleged $4.5 billion siphoned from a Malaysian government fund straight into private accounts. But before all of that came crashing down, Joe Lowe wasn't hiding. He was everywhere. Living loud, spending bigger, surrounded by celebrities. Names like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jamie Foxx, Paris Hilton, and yes, Kim Kardashian. According to 2019 federal records, agents questioned Kim about one specific night in Las Vegas. Rewind back to 2009. A private casino room, high stakes, closed doors. Kim, Joe Lowe, and 2 producers tied to the Wolf of Wall Street. They played for hours, deep into the night. By around 5 a.m., Kim was ready to leave. But someone stopped her, told her to stay, because Joe Lowe had a reputation, a habit of rewarding people at the end of the night. So she stayed, started calling bets. And Joe Lowe? He won, big. And then came the thank you. He handed her chips, worth over $350,000. Just like that. But it doesn't stop there. Because when she cashed out, the money didn't come in a briefcase. It came in a trash bag. Yeah, a literal trash bag, filled with stacks of $100 bills. Around $250,000, handed over, just like that. She packed it into her carry-on and boarded a flight back to Los Angeles. No hesitation, no questions. And the remaining $100,000? Picked up later. Again, in another bag. But here's where it gets even harder to ignore. According to those same records, the connection didn't end there. Joe Lowe allegedly gave her another $100,000 for fireworks at her 2011 wedding to Chris Humphries, plus an extra $35,000 in cash. So ask yourself, does any of this feel normal? Walking around with bags of cash from the same man over and over again. She was questioned about it, and still, just flying with massive amounts of money like it was nothing. At what point do you start asking where it's coming from? Because people don't just hand out that kind of money without expecting something back. And now, some are starting to look beyond just Kim, pointing toward Kris Jenner, suggesting she may have played a role in connecting those dots behind the scenes. And that leads into an entirely different story, because back in 2009, Kris quietly co-founded something of her own, a private church, California Community Church. On paper, it's about faith.community.giving back. But over time, questions started building, because membership reportedly came with a price, $1,000 a month, plus 10% of your income. And because it's registered as a nonprofit, those contributions come with tax advantages, meaning the family benefits, while the money circles right back in. Donations made, tax write-offs claimed, but the funds never really leave the circle. And then another name enters the picture. Lou Taylor. A figure previously linked to controversial financial control cases, including matters involving Britney Spears, allegations of money movement, control, and influence, and, according to rumors, connections that may lead right back to the Kardashians. But if you thought the financial side was disturbing, what came next was on a completely different level. Because then, Kanye West went public, and what he said took everything somewhere much darker. There will never be an apology to the Carter family until they help me with my children. The Carters and the Kardashians are basically the same, except the Kardashians are executing. So let's slow this down and really think about what's happening here. On one side, Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner are taking legal action, going after Ray J for defamation. And yet, if you actually listen to what Ray J said, it doesn't even come close to the level of some of these other accusations. But then, Kanye West steps in and makes claims that are far more extreme, far more explosive. Comparisons that immediately raise eyebrows, connections that most people wouldn't even dare to say out loud. And what happens? Nothing. No lawsuit. No legal pushback, not even a formal denial. Just silence. And that silence? It starts to feel louder than anything else. Because when accusations reach that level, you'd expect some kind of response. Something. Anything. So the real question becomes, why ignore something that serious? Why let it just sit there, unanswered? And once you start asking that, it opens the door to something bigger. Because suddenly, this doesn't feel like one isolated story anymore. It feels like layers. Like pieces of something much larger, something that hasn't fully come to the surface yet. Honestly, you could break this down into multiple parts, and still not cover everything that's been said, everything that's been hinted at, everything people are starting to connect. And then you circle back to what Cat Williams said. Because when he spoke on Kim during that Club Shay interview, a lot of people dismissed it. Called it disrespectful, said he went too far. But if you actually listen carefully, he wasn't just throwing random shots. He was pointing at something deeper, suggesting that behind the image, behind the fame, there's something people aren't seeing. Because according to him, this isn't just about relationships going wrong. It's about a pattern. Men coming into that world and leaving completely different. Walking away, breaking down, sometimes spiraling. And when you line that up with everything else that's been said, everything that's happening now, it starts to paint a picture that's hard to ignore.
What do you expect? The guy married on her. Like, what?
Oh, Lord.
Like, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, married her because she was one. Not he didn't know. He understood that he wanted that. He courted that. That's what he wanted to base his family
she got
on.
a good heart, though. I know what you're going to say. Don't you say it, Cat. Don't you say it. I'm going to move the
If
conversation.
what I'm saying is not correct, then how does she end up with Pete Davidson?
I mean, it happens all the time.
And what if you weren't even good enough for Pete and he leaves you? What do that mean the product will?
But now, I want you to really think about this. After everything we just walked through, does that truck driver story still feel random to you? Or does it feel like something that might be connected to a much bigger picture? Because a man getting caught with millions in illegal substances, hidden inside scheme shipments, that's not something people just ignore. And then you stack that on top of all the other allegations, all the unanswered questions, everything that's been said about Kim Kardashian and her entire circle. And suddenly, it doesn't feel so simple anymore. So what do you think? Is this all just coincidence? Or is there something deeper going on behind the scenes? Could Ray J actually be telling the truth? And if he is, what does that really mean? Because if even a fraction of this is real, the consequences could be massive. We're talking reputations, empires, everything on the line. And then there's the biggest question of all. Could this ever turn into something serious, like RICO-level trouble? Or is that line still too far to cross? Drop your thoughts below, because this conversation is only getting started. And trust me, what comes next might be even more shocking.